Hi guys. So today we'll be doing essay 505 external confirmations. So a little background about this standard on auditing. Now what is an external confirmation? It is a kind of audit evidence which the auditor obtains from a third party. For example, now the audit that the auditor is doing, that client is having a bank account with, let's say, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and the balance of that bank account is rupees 5 lakhs. So now what the auditor will do is he will want independent confirmation from Kotak Mahindra Bank that this client does have an account containing a balance of rupees 5 lakh with us. For getting this direct confirmation from the bank, the auditor will prepare a confirmation request and write in that, "Dear Sir, Madam," to the manager, Kotak Mahindra Bank, "Dear Sir, Madam, we are the auditors of this company who has an account with you. Please confirm the balances of all savings accounts, current accounts, fixed deposits, term loans, term deposits, bank overdrafts, etc. And please respond directly to us by writing to us on this address." Okay. And then Kotak Mahindra Bank will respond back to the auditor stating that this company has so and so accounts and so is the balance. So this will provide the auditor direct confirmation from the third party with which the company has a balance. So this acts as a very important source of audit evidence because it is directly obtained by the auditor from the third party with which the company has an account. Now, one more thing. If any auditor writes to Kotak Mahindra Bank that give me the balances of so and so company, will Kotak Mahindra Bank respond? The answer is no. Kotak Mahindra Bank will not respond unless the confirmation request which the auditor is sending contains signatures of the management. Usually two authorized directors will sign on that bank confirmation. So that signatures act as an authorization from the management that please give the confirmation to our auditors. We are authorizing you to give the balance confirmation to the auditors. Only after verifying those two signatures will Kotak Mahindra Bank respond to the auditor's request for a bank confirmation. So understand that there always has to be a management authorization to any confirmation that the auditor is seeking. Okay, so with this, let's start with the standard. Question number one: what is an external confirmation? An external confirmation is an audit evidence obtaining a direct written response to the auditor from a third party, which is the confirming party, in paper form or by electronic or other medium. The preferred form is always paper form. We prepare a confirmation on, let's say, Microsoft Word. We will print the confirmation, take the signatures from the client's authorized personnel, and then we will courier this signature. We will courier this confirmation directly to the third party. So we have a proof of delivery also, the POD receipt that we get that acts as a proof of delivery. And then we will tell the opposite party ki you please respond to us directly on our address. Okay, so this is the way usually a confirmation is done. But we may also confirm by electronic medium. Now let's say, there are just 2 or 3 days left for the audit committee meeting by which we need to complete our audit, and we have not yet received the paper confirmation from the opposite party. Then we may opt for an email confirmation. We may write to them that in the interest of time, please send your response through email, and maybe also courier it, but please send a scanned copy of your response on email in the interest of time. So email confirmation also may be used. And more so, we are seeing the use of email confirmations in the wake of this COVID-19 pandemic, where dispatching physical confirmations is next to impossible. Only now we are seeing that, the courier services and all are reopening. But in the middle, we had 31st March closing. So during that time, more and more electronic confirmations were only used to obtain the confirmation. So what is the definition? An external confirmation is an audit evidence obtaining a direct written response to the auditor from a third party, which is the confirming party, in paper form or by electronic or other medium. Now next, positive confirmation request, and after that we have negative confirmation request. So we have two types of confirmation request, positive or negative. In a positive confirmation request, we write the confirmation to the opposite party and we ask them to confirm whether they agree also or whether they disagree also. Please confirm back to us. So the opposite party will have to confirm back to us. It is necessary for the opposite party to write back to us in order for our confirmation procedure to be complete. Whereas in a negative confirmation request, we tell the opposite party to confirm back to us only if he does not agree with what is put out in the confirmation. For example, we may say that the bank account balance is rupees 5 lakhs. If you don't agree with this, you write back to us. So that is a negative confirmation request. Let us read the definitions now. Positive confirmation request is a request that the confirming party respond directly to the auditor indicating whether he agrees or disagrees with the information in the request or providing the requested information. So for example, we may write a debtor con for the first part, whether he agrees or disagrees with the information in the request. We may write to a debtor that the balance of you in the company's books is 5 lakhs, please confirm back. So he may write yes or no. And the second part is or providing the requested information. This part, uh, just 1 second, or providing the requested information. So for that, we may write to a bank that please provide the requested information, that is balances in savings accounts, current accounts, and all kinds of deposits, loans, overdrafts. Okay. Now next answer is negative confirmation request. It is a request that the confirming party respond directly to the auditor only if he disagrees with the information in the request. So if he agrees, he does not have to confirm back anything. That is, if he does not respond back to the auditor will assume that everything is fine. Only if he responds back, it means that the third party does not agree with the information that the auditor has sent to the third party. Now next answer, external confirmation procedures. Now basically, how do we send a external confirmation? Point number one is determine the information to be confirmed or requested. So basically you will open the client balance sheet, you will see which balances you need confirmation for. So first point is determine the information to be confirmed or requested. Point number two, selecting the appropriate confirming party. So if it's a cash and cash equivalent balance, you will select the particular bank. If it's an investment balance, let's say a current investment with a mutual fund, you will select the mutual fund house to get the balance from. So accordingly, you have to select the appropriate confirming party. Third point is design the confirmation request. So basically, you will prepare the confirmation request that you want to send. And fourth point is sending the request and follow-up requests. Now, follow-up requests are also very key because let us say you have sent the confirmation but you have not got a response. It is your duty and responsibility to send a follow-up request. Maybe the third party has overlooked the confirmation. Maybe he has not received, in rare circumstances, there is some kind of problem in the delivery. So that is why you send a follow-up request to get a confirmation that he has received the confirmation and that he please reply to the confirmation that has been sent to him. Next answer, what should the auditor do if management refuses to allow the auditor to send a confirmation request? Okay, so now there may be some debtors in the bank, in the client, which are very kind of, we don't have, the company doesn't have a very good relation with them, let's say. So they wouldn't want the auditors to send a confirmation to them and disturb the debtor, or the debtor is very fussy. So they may refuse to allow the auditor to send a confirmation request. Now in this scenario, what should the auditor do? Point number one, inquire as to management's reason for the refusal. Ask the management why they are refusing us to send a confirmation. Point number two, evaluate the implications for management's refusal. Now, let's say if the balance is a very immaterial balance, we may not be too much bothered about it. But if it's material, then it may have certain impacts on the audit evidence. Point number C, perform alternate audit procedures. Now let us say, if it's a debtor balance, we may just see that, we have given him some services in the past. Maybe we may cite the invoices. That could be an alternate audit procedure. If the auditor concludes that management's refusal is unreasonable and auditor is unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, he shall report to those charged with governance as per SA 260. SA 260 is communication with those charged with governance. So, if the auditor feels that the management is refusing is not reasonable and the auditor is unable to obtain the audit evidence that he wants, he should communicate it with those charged with governance. He may also modify the opinion as per SA 705. So, like I said, if the debtor balance is material and the management is refusing you to send the confirmation, you may have to modify your opinion in the light of uh, insufficient audit evidence. Next question. The response to positive confirmation request is necessary to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence. So, this question is basically saying that what should you do or what are the consequences if response to positive confirmation request is necessary to obtain the evidence and you have not received such a positive confirmation request reply. Point number one, if auditor has determined that response to a positive confirmation request is necessary to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, alternate audit procedures will not provide the audit evidence that the auditor requires. So basically, if you if positive confirmation you have sent and there is no alternate, if there is no if you cannot do with alternate audit procedures, then you will require the reply to the positive confirmation request. And if you do not receive the response as point number 2 says, then you may have to modify your opinion as per SA 705. Next, negative confirmation. Negatives, what was negative confirmation? We saw in the third answer. Negative confirmation is when you will request some information from the third party and he should respond only if he disagrees with the information that you have requested him, that you have sent to him. Okay, so negative confirmations provide less persuasive audit evidence than positive confirmations. What does this mean? Negative confirmations are not as reliable as positive confirmations. Accordingly, it should not be used as the sole audit procedure to address a risk of material misstatement unless all of the following are present. So you cannot use a negative confirmation as the sole audit procedure, as the only audit procedure, unless all the four following conditions are present. Point number one, risk of material misstatement is assessed to be low and sufficient appropriate evidence regarding operating effectiveness of the controls is obtained. So risk of that account should be low and you have also concluded that the that the controls relating to that balance are operating effectively. Point number B, populations of items subject to negative confirmation procedures comprises a large number of small homogeneous account balances and transactions. So basically the population is very similar. It has got large number of items, but all those items are very similar to each other. Point number C, a very low exception rate is expected. What is exception rate? Exception is the possibility that the confirmation you will send, the third party will disagree and send you back a confirmation. So you are not expecting a reply because you feel that the balances will match with the third parties and third parties would agree with the balances that you are sending. Error rate is very low, exception rate is very low. The auditor is not aware of any circumstances where recipients of the negative confirmation request would disregard such requests. So he feels that the third party will always look at the confirmation and he will agree or disagree. If he disagrees, he will send back a response. He does not expect that the third party will just not look at the confirmation only. He expects them to look at the confirmation, make a decision whether they agree or disagree, and send a response if they disagree. So he expects them to, honor the confirmation request. Last question is design of confirmation request. So how should you design your balance confirmation? Factors to be considered. Point number one, the assertions being addressed. Assertions are CVOP, completeness, existence, accuracy, valuation, obligation and rights, presentation. So basically, depending on the assertions, you will prepare your confirmation. Point number two, layout and presentation of the confirmation request. So this is basically more to do with the designing of the confirmation. Point number three, prior experience on the audit or similar engagements. So maybe in the prior year you have prepared a similar confirmation, so you could just roll forward that, or on a similar engagement you have prepared a similar confirmation, so you could roll forward that. Fourth, method of communication, paper form or by electronic or other medium. So if you're sending by paper form, you will ask them to respond to your address. If it's by electronic form, you'll ask them to reply to your email address, and maybe in addition to that also send a paper confirmation. Point number five, management's authorization to the confirming parties to respond to the auditor. So authorization of management is actually very, very key. Some third parties may not respond to your confirmation without management authorization, which is also the next point. Confirming parties may be willing to respond to a confirmation request containing management authorization, because the third party is only dealing with the management, with the company, so he may want to respond only if he sees that the management, the company with which I am dealing with, is asking me to reply to the confirmation. Only then will he be willing to respond to the auditor's confirmation. So this is about it. This is essay 505. If you like this video, please do like, comment and subscribe. This acts as a big motivation. Thank you for watching this video and see you in my next video.